So this is a little bit late this week. I want to start off by apologizing to the fans. We want to stay on schedule and release these on time. It's just that I had a little problem. I did all my homework, but I tried to call Zach a few times over the weekend, but he was kind of busy, right?
Yeah, work's been kind of crazy. You know how things go. One thing leads to another. I guess
it's not just work, though, is it?
Well, I've been hanging out with people, and
just say it. You're cuffed.
Yeah. So what? I jumped into a relationship and
the content flow slowed to a trickle. I don't understand. We watch Impulsive. You see what happens to Logan's content output when he gets a girlfriend. Why do you think that you're impervious to it?
I don't think that, but similar to Logan, I'm searching for that, that good relationship. And
it's not the time in your life right now for that. The time in your life right now is grind time. We are on the grind.
Yeah, I realize that, and I fucked up, and I know that I just want to earn the chance to be forgiven. I know that it's going to take time, and it's not going to happen right now, but I want to make it right, and I want to put good, solid fucking content back on the PostCast.
Right.
That flows.
All right. You're right. This isn't a cancel culture show. I'm not going to cancel you, but you are on probation.
I'm tired of cancel culture, by the way.
Yeah. All right, guys. Welcome to the Impulsive PostCast, the official Logan Paul podcast AfteRsHOw. Are you trying to clap?
I don't know. Sometimes.
Oh, were you using were you doing hand motions for my words?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically, we are two brothers from Ohio, and similar to Logan Paul, Jake Paul, we call ourselves Paulologists. We have studied the Pauls. We have learned from the Pauls. We have done the polls of the Pauls.
We watch all of the Paul content. We break it down, digest it, and regurgitate it as sort of a funky farmhouse wine.
We smash it up with our feet. We let the juice squirt from our toes, hit the wall.
And then we fall off the platform and go, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa,
whoa. Fucking classic. Guys, if you know what we're referring to there, give us a fucking hell yeah in the comments.
Okay, so this week, this is Wednesday of the next week, so I've already watched a podcast from this Monday, but we're only going to talk about the week of, I don't even know, February 20-something, I don't know.
February 20th, call it.
The guests were Chris Drama from Robin Big, Jay Shetty, and Tana Mongeau.
Yep.
Let's get right.
Pronounce it? Is it Mojo? I wasn't I kept pronouncing it wrong, so I didn't know what was right.
No, I made a point to find out how it was really pronounced. It's Mojo, zh. And I think you might be familiar with that zh sound because I think you've been hanging out with a certain someone with a similar sound in their name.
Maybe
I
not.
won't say their name on the show, but I will say it does have the zh sound.
Okay, gotcha. We'll go back to that later. Yeah, so
let's start our first off on the list. Chris Drama from Robin Big and from Fantasy Factory on MTV from back in the day.
Right.
I want to ask you, did you ever watch either of these shows?
I didn't watch Fantasy Factory. I did watch some Robin Big, and it's pretty good. It's, from what I remember, it was fine. I didn't love it.
It's like a post-Jackass, sort of like half reality show, half Jackass, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I
And
guess I wish I would have watched it because it sounds kind of like a Logan Paul vlog, and he sounds like he's modeled his vlogs after these types of shows.
I never really made that connection, but it makes a lot of sense. And yeah. So similar to us, both Rob and Drama, Chris, I think they're all.
Oh, he's from Akron.
Yeah.
Chris is from Akron. Yeah, they the thing he said I gotta stop smoking cigs. That's the one Ohio thing I gotta stop doing, which made me say, like, is smoking cigarettes an Ohio thing?
Who said that?
That's what Chris said, the guest. He was like, he's trying to get rid of his bad Ohio habits, like eating really trashy, and he mentioned cigarettes as basically a trait that was representative of living in Ohio. Do you agree with that characterization of an average Ohio person being a smoker?
I didn't hear that direct comparison, but he did say he quit, but no, not really. I think that's really just kind of cold weather states of all. Really, I mean,
is smoking? I've never been a smoker, but do you feel like it's I guess I smoke weed, but it doesn't really feel like it keeps me warm. Also weird because you'd think the cold weather states would hate the idea that they have to go outside to smoke, and it's freezing out there.
But I think that it's also like skate culture because he was
yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to see if you thought so. I kind of do think so. It's kind of it's a little bit of like a Rust Belt trait, being a smoker and eating like shit. Yeah. They kept talking about Ohio as if it's like basically the armpit of the world and how sad it would be to go back there. Like it's like a failure zone.
Yeah, they were talking about that. But I think they were talking about that more so because that's where they're from, and it's like back to where you're from.
It just made me think, like, is Ohio really, like, if we're thinking of like the United States or the world, like the Hunger Games, is Ohio District 13? Like, is that the most far out district?
No, I just think that is their like country because it's not a big city, so that's what we fall back to.
I guess it's like I felt like they were just shaming Ohio a lot, and
I didn't think so. But I don't fucking know. They made the comparison. I don't know. What were you gonna say? I don't have any.
You don't have much to say about this app? Do you have anything to say about it?
I was just gonna say about they compared Rob and Big to Logan and
Evan.
Yeah, which
Mombi.
I could totally see that now thinking about it. I wasn't, like I said, like I wasn't a like huge fan of Rob and Big, but like it was fine, and my friends would put it on, and so I did see it in passing. Kind of see. I mean, it's just kind of big. It's big dude, little dude.
Yeah, the sheer optics of it are entertaining just to see it, I'm sure.
But I would say that one thing I will say about him, I mean, he seemed cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, he just.
Yeah, like
he went through like a lot, and like he was pretty humble. And
yeah, we've had a lot of D-bags on the show on Impaulsive recently, and it was nice to have somebody I didn't hate.
He's also a little bit older, and I feel like most of
32.
We have I feel like the average age of like the guests so far have been like like early 20s.
Yeah. So Mike was really connecting with him, I could see.
Right. I think Mike had a couple of older gentlemen on the show.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, you know how I said Mike was gonna be cancel cultured by Feb 22nd?
Yeah.
Mike's still here, and I gotta say also I apologize to Mike. I like him now.
Right.
Like, he hasn't done anything that I'm like, get out of here, Mike, in a long time. I'm totally flipped. And like preview for next week when we're talking about the Kent State Gun Girl episode, Mike did a good job that episode.
He did, yeah. I don't want to say anything else about that.
Yeah.
So guys, stick around for that next week.
Yeah. So they were talking about Gucci getting canceled. They were talking about cancel culture a bit. And they were talking about the Gucci, like, the racist Gucci ski mask thing. And they were...
Right now.
You haven't seen it, actually?
No.
Yeah, it's like ski mask. It's just like it goes over the bottom half of your face, like over your jaw, and it's black. And then the lip zone is like super bright red. And so it resembles classic blackface. And it was released, and people were like, how could there be nobody working at Gucci that could see this is obviously blackface? And so this is this whole discussion. And then they were talking about how like Gucci's probably going to take a hit in their stock prices for it. And I just looked at that up to see if they actually did, and they did not. The stock prices are rising on Gucci.
I wouldn't think so.
They were talking about...
I hate to say I'm like really wanting to get this pair of Gucci like glasses. I just tried them all, and like I just thought they looked really good, and now they're like kind of cheaper than they were. But
what do you mean they're cheaper because of their controversy? You think all their prices went down? Like, shit, we can't even sell this stuff anymore.
No, I think they just are like last season's style. But will I still get them? I don't think so. So you got watch the stock plummet now.
What question I wrote, is it fun to hate? When they were talking about the internet, they're just basically like the internet just like loves to hate. And they were saying like some people just have fun hating. Do you think it's fun to hate? In your opinion?
Yeah, I kind of do. Because, I mean, I don't know. I think my hate is different than someone else's, but like, I guess in the way that I see it, hate is just kind of like making fun of with other people and just kind of like having a good time with them.
Yeah. I agree. I used to be, I think, a lot worse. I used to just like judging people and making fun of people. Like it was so fun to just roast people.
Right. I mean, it was, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I think everyone kind of just goes through that phase where you're just like, I don't give a shit.
And I wonder, like, is this whole show, you could argue, or if Logan were watching the show, he might think this is a show that's just like exists to like pick me apart and say everything I did wrong. And you could argue this whole show is just like a whole exercise in hate.
Right.
And I can see that myself, and I'm like, okay, I don't really want to be that though. I don't think that that's what this is, but at times it is, and I feel like I do scratch the same itch that I did whenever I was like thinking back to the times when I just like roasting people and making fun of people.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't think that that's really what it is. I mean, sure, like there are things we're just tossing our opinions on top of a bag of corn. Funyuns, yeah. Cornstarch, Funyuns, yeah. So,
did you just have to say something?
No, I don't. I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
If it's, cancel culture will get us.
All right.
Who's guest?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. I just wrote down that Spencer was banging his education drum a lot. Like education, man, education. That's where it's at. And he did say that he said 7th grade is where imagination dies. Would you agree with that? I'd say it's a pivotal year. Is that where imagination dies? Maybe a bit. I feel like I understand what he means. I feel like I did transition from like a sort of like elementary school kid to like a high school kid and like / adult at around 7th grade. But was that the school's fault? I don't know.
No, I don't think. I mean, sure, I'm sure it could be like it could contribute to that idea of imagination dying, but I feel like it's also more of just like age and like
yeah,
hormonal changes, and like you become more aware of certain things. I don't know, you fucking grow up. But I wouldn't say that totally imagination dies. I don't know. Depends on the person too.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to bring that up. The big thing about this, big asterisk, is they did not talk about Suicide Force this episode. Can you believe it?
Was this the first one?
I don't know. That's the first. Like, I was thinking, it was just since we were talking about it recently that he's just like, it's a constant theme in this show. That it was at the end of that episode. I was like, wait a second, they didn't say anything about it. Because now I'm making, every time they talk about it, I'm making like sort of mental notes about what was said and like if there's anything new to like the way he sees it or looks at it.
Right.
Because I really eventually do want to do a supercut of Logan Paul and the Suicide Force, like everything he said about it. I'd love to watch it myself, and I'm thinking that the only way I'm really going to see it is if I make it.
Yeah. So be on the that, guys.
Yeah. Maybe. Honestly, I'd love if there was like somebody to go through and like sort of just timestamp everything.
Yeah.
For me, fans out there.
Ask the fans. I think
I'll edit it, but it's just going to take a lot of work for me to rewatch all these. If we can break up the work, every fan takes one episode. The work will be done.
Will be done soon.
Wednesday's episode, Jay Shetty. He is a monk / motivational speaker.
I guess
he's like a YouTuber, right? He's like a Gary V type YouTuber. That's like,
yeah.
But he's more monk style. Like he's more about meditation and taking it slow.
Right.
He was a monk between the years 2010 to 2013. Classic monk. He went, I don't know where he was, India.
Honestly, though, like, good time to become a monk, in my opinion.
Right now?
No,
or just those years?
2010 or whatever it was. I feel like that was probably like a good time. Like now, I think it's too late. You know what I
mean? Yeah, I kind of agree. He said it was like sort of before cell phones really took over, and so when he came back, cell phones were like literally everywhere.
That's kind of what I mean. But yeah, I mean, could you become a monk now? Like, do you think that you have it in you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to. Seems like a fun thing to do for a while, right? Logan said that he has a vision that eventually he will be a monk. Like he said, I picture myself, an old Logan Paul, I don't know what age he meant, but just older man, and going up, climbing a mountain and living with goats for the rest of his life. You think that's realistic, or you think like, because that doesn't sound like the greatest entertainer on earth. Is that post being the greatest entertainer on earth that he becomes a monk? Probably, right?
Right, yeah, definitely. Wow. That sounds nice. But yeah, I would like to take the expedited route. You know, can I take the 1 year course? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you meditate at all or ever have?
I have, but I don't do it often. I've been like meaning to get to yoga for about 1.5 years now. Like kind of one of those things. Like I know, but I feel like the only time I actually can meditate is through like yoga.
Yeah, I could see that. It's really hard to shut your brain up. I'll say that. Like I've tried meditation a lot, and it's hard.
I need someone to guide me. I really need to be like in space.
Have you tried the Headspace app?
Is this a fucking
This is an ad. This is our first ad for the PostCast Headspace. If you find yourself feeling like you're scatterbrained, why don't you download the app Headspace in the App Store? Nah. But they did talk about Headspace in this episode. He was like, I know the Headspace dude, Andy. But I have listened to Headspace has like I think it's like the first 10 days are free or something. I don't know. It's worth doing though. The Headspace app helps you meditate and he guides you through it really well. Then after that you have to pay, but like I think there's like the first introductory zone is free.
I think I might have downloaded an app that has that same purpose and I never used it, and then like, oh fuck.
Headspace is cool. I actually then paid for like the other level of it or whatever, and there were like all these other zones. I did the one that was a walking meditation where you could be like strolling slowly and meditating. I like that one.
That makes sense. Would you say
Also,
that your meditation is walking and listening to music or not?
no, it's not the same thing.
Because you're not shutting your brain off.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I feel like also, you know how most meditation, they're like sitting Indian style.
Right.
I can't do that. I have to lay down. Like, I'm not totally relaxed sitting.
Yeah. Me neither. Like I've done meditation, like in yoga class, I did meditation where we laid against a wall and so kind of supported our back, but you still are holding yourself up. And even if you like try to
Yeah.
find center of balance or whatever, like you still are using your core.
Yeah, like I don't know how I get over that. Maybe I just need to get a stronger core, but I don't know. My solution, if you're at home and you're having trouble meditating, like just lay down. It's a lot easier.
You know, that might work for you, but that's not
Maybe.
every.
Okay, true. But I just feel like people might be looking at meditation and seeing they want to do the classic meditation pose, and I do too. I want to be that classic monk posture, but it just didn't work for me.
Right. I think it all goes back to like this the idea of like a center, having a center, and your center is kind of like literally like gravity pulling you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, what do you think about Jay Shetty in general?
I was fine with them. I
liked him.
Did you? I feel like you're kind of always. I expected you to have a little bit of dirt prepared
for Jay Shetty.
Yeah, just a little bit.
That I would have like researched him and be like, this guy's bullshit.
Maybe that or something he said, but like nothing really.
The only thing that he said that really,
like I don't know, he seemed likable. I didn't.
Yeah. The only thing that made me think like, ooh, is he said that Gary Vaynerchuk was a friend.
I think everybody fucking says that.
Yeah, I guess Gary has a lot of buddies.
What would Gary say? You know, he would say, "Just say you know me."
Yeah, I think he probably knows him a little better than most people. I don't know, but that's the only thing that made me think like I don't like this guy is that he would befriend Gary.
Right.
Although if I could, I would try to befriend Gary, only because I feel like then I could like I don't know, change Gary's mind in some way.
I think that he'd be psyched to hear about the Megapod.
I think so too. Yeah, I said I like him. Great voice. I like his voice a lot. His accent and his just general his vocal cords are nice. And like if I could sample his voice and have like my Siri be his voice, I would love that.
I mean, that makes sense. He's got fucking like 400 or like 40 million subscribers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I think part of it is just that his voice is nice. He looks nice. He's very calming to like. I think he's got calm presence. I wonder if he was that calm in Buddha, like pre.
He's also not white, which is like people appreciate that.
Yeah. He.
You say that as white people.
That like
someone that has got color.
He is an Indian. I think he's Indian.
Yeah,
and
he's an Indian from London. Or
maybe it's the stereotype of like Indian people being more spiritual. You know, I mean, I can't
go back to that too. I feel like that part like of the world and like basically just not the U.S. and like Western Europe is more like spiritual anyways.
Mm-hmm. So. The U.S. is spiritual in a not good way, and we'll talk about that on the gun episode. But I think his accent, the London accent plus like a little bit of Indian, it was a perfect mix.
Yeah.
Great voice. Mike says that the internet is an inherently negative place. Agree or disagree?
And I'm going to tell you why. The internet is the most prevalent information on the internet, you know, stories, trends, what have you, are the negatives, just like traditional media. They're reporting on the negative events, car crash, death. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets clicks. That's what gets views, and it always has. But there's plenty of good on the internet, and like it's really improved a lot of people's lives and communication and information.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think of the first thing you said, like I kind of agree. Like this is my whole theory about like it's like why would you report on something that is going well? Like what's the news? Like what's the scoop? Like if stories in general are the structure of the witch's hat, and you need conflict to have a good story. And so like if what we're doing mostly on the internet is telling stories, then we're going to be mostly talking about conflict.
And it goes back to the way that we were, you know, programmed in school. You know, there has to be story. There has to be, you know, conflict. So it's maybe even more familiar.
I think they talk about it. I don't know if it's this. They talk about it in this episode. Just that, like, we look for the things that are going wrong. Like, you don't ever notice the things that are going well.
You said there was a part in your brain that is meant to, like,
just be stressed out about like looking out for a tiger, whatever.
Or just to be turned on and like ready for anything like negative.
Yeah. And that like that was a useful thing back when we were on the plains and in the forests because there were actual predators, but now it's being triggered by things that aren't life threatening. And I mean that's a little bit of like some conjecturing, that sort of like idea, like what he just said there. Like I'm not so sure that. I guess I've heard decent scientists say similar things, so I can't really discredit that.
Yeah. Interesting.
But he said that he said that he thinks that the internet is definitely a negative place right now too, Jay. But he said that like it's becoming constructive and people are like doing things because of it. Like it's definitely a stressed out zone, but it's if you can take the stress and turn. I think it's true too. I think Logan has said something similar, which he's like, I feel like we're going through something right now that we have to get through, and I feel like the internet is predominantly negative, but hopefully it's a constructive negativity.
Yeah, I can't even comment on that, but let's
go over a quote from Jay. I believe we're wired for service, but educated for greed. That's just a good one.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of thinking points. I was like working out while I was listening to this, and like I was just like, oh wow.
Yeah, this is the first like self-help guy that they've had on, guru type person that I haven't like 100% dismissed as like an asshole.
That's right, and that's why I said I was surprised that you didn't have anything.
Yeah, it's because like I guess like most of his advice wasn't like about business. His advice was about like slowing down. He said like one of the best things you can do is get rid of or buy a digital clock to keep next to your bed so you can keep your phone outside your room, so that you can like put a buffer between. Yeah, like I think that's a really good. I've started.
I'm like damn, I actually need to get one now.
No, I know, and like I remember when I started using my phone a lot, and I abandoned my digital clock, and I was like, why would I have a phone? It's everything. But now it's like, no, okay, maybe yes, the phone is everything, and that's the bad part about it.
It really is. Fuck.
Yeah. So mostly, yeah, I didn't subscribe to Jay Shetty's YouTube, but after actually talking to you now, I'm like, maybe I should.
Right. I'm seriously, after this podcast, I'm gonna buy a fucking clock because like that is really true, and like it sucks to have your phone wake you up because then you're already have it to like do anything else, and like looking at your phone in the morning is just kind of a sour feeling.
No, I know. And I just hate that I'm in dream world right when I wake up, and like I sort of have like a hint of what I was dreaming about left in my mind and like my mind's eye.
So you're
and
like
as soon
maybe or like, so would you say that you're like relaxed?
Yeah, I'm in like a sort of dreamy, soupy waking up state.
Totally.
But as soon as I go into my phone and see like a message from somebody or anything at all, that stuff's gone. Like it's annihilated.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's not bad. Maybe like who cares? But I don't know. I think he had a really good point. And I mean, it's not like he's the first person to say this, but yeah, for some reason when he said it, I took it a little more serious. Like I've heard people say sleep with your phone outside your room, but I think like actually buying a clock, it's like, okay, that's all you really needed your phone in your room for anyway. That is like the one thing, because I've been sleeping with my phone outside my room recently, but then like I don't actually know what time it is in the morning, and I do want to check, and so that I need a digital clock.
I gotta go put this bong outside because I forgot that it's in my room. But
okay.
What do we got next?
Let's see. He said this thing about also that I was like kind of curious about. He said that sleep before midnight is like 2 times more revitalizing than sleep after midnight, and I don't know about that.
That is the one fact that like I couldn't stop thinking about yesterday or like the day before. I'm just like, I literally was like, what time is it right now? I was like 11 o'clock. I'm like, I got 1 hour.
1 hour of double power sleep.
Like, I really wanted to I was also tired, but like, I mean,
I don't know if that's true.
I want to believe it, and it probably is, because I mean, whenever you go to bed early, you feel fucking good in the morning. Like, it's just like a fact.
Yeah, I do wonder that, and I mean, it makes total sense
with the sun.
Yeah, it's the thing.
It's the idea of it, right?
Yeah, we're fucking diurnal creatures. We are linked to the home star. When the star goes to sleep, we, for most of the time, just went to sleep right with it, or like right after it. It would make sense that the most like revitalizing and useful sleep would be sleep that is synchronized with the actual sun.
I think I'm gonna start waking up like mad early, and just just kind of like maybe just start waking up at like 5 a.m. If I can get to bed at like early, which is just, it's fucking hard because it's just tough. You really have to like want to do it, but
I do want to do it. I used to be a real hardcore night owl, but I'm willing to change. I'm willing to change for Jay.
Yeah, I've never really been a night owl, to be honest. I've always kind of gone to bed for like around the same time, like 11 o'clock. Usually.
I slip into like the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. bedtimes if I just am left to my own devices.
I hit 1 and I'm like, okay, now this is like, I need to go to sleep right now. But we're not here to talk about what time we go to bed. We're here to talk about what's going on in this podcast. So,
did you ever live the party lifestyle? Is one question I asked in here. Do you feel like you ever lived the party lifestyle? Because I don't think I ever did.
I kind of did for like maybe like a year.
Do you feel like it was useful? Do you feel like it was valuable to live the party's lifestyle? So now you have your normal life as a contrast.
I mean, that's how I know that I don't really like it. Like I did it, but yeah. But like it does like you like don't have any curiosity. You're like, okay, like I know it really just comes back to like me not really wanting to be hungover. But when I say like I lived the party lifestyle, it was probably like maybe a year, maybe honestly, maybe like 1.5 a year. And then like I would go, but I mean, I'd say like there was a time where I would go out like 2 nights in a row, like on the weekends, feel like maybe a half a year. But there would be days where I go out like 3 nights in a row, but then it really just ended up just being one night because I fucking hate being hungover. Like that's what it comes down to. I don't want to be hungover. I want to be more productive in the day. I think it was kind of like the classic college, lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You just go to class, do your homework, and then if you're not, you just fucking hang out and like probably getting drunk because you feel like you've done your responsibility. So it's just like fuck it, like.
Yeah, I don't think I ever lived the party lifestyle, but I feel like I get it.
I mean, to say, but even that, like going out like 2-3 nights in a row, or like
that's not totally the party lifestyle.
It's not really. It's excessive, but it's not like.
That's like typical college. But
right.
I would say typical college or stereotypical college is in the zone of the party lifestyle.
Right. Totally.
Anyway, yeah, they just mentioned that about like, I don't know, everybody's got to have the party lifestyle at one point in their life.
Yeah, I don't know, but
let's move on. Speaking of parties, the biggest party that never happened, TanaCon 2018. Tana Mongeau was the Friday guest. I did a lot of extra research on this one because I knew about TanaCon, or I heard about it when it was going on last year, but I never looked into it. I never watched the Shane Dawson 3-part series about TanaCon, so I watched that before I watched this interview, just in case anything about that came up. And not much about it did come up. It was a little bit, but not as much as I thought. Right. But I am still glad that I watched it. It was pretty good, pretty entertaining. Shane did it again.
Damn. I have to check that out. Yeah, well, shout out to Shane. We love you, dude.
So yeah, do you have anything? You watched this one today. You finally caught up on your homework today and watched the TanaCon one, right? Or you watched this yesterday?
I watched it yesterday. Or no,
yeah.
I watched it 2 days ago.
So what do you think?
Yesterday. I don't fucking know. She's kind of just like a fucking 20-year-old. I don't know. Like, seems fine, like she's kind of just like doesn't really, like she's just kind of seeing what happens. I mean, she kind of just is taking it as it comes. And
yeah. Do you think you see why she's popular?
I guess because she's just like kind of just says whatever the fuck she wants, apparently.
Yeah, she's kind of the female Logan Paul, right?
I guess so. I never really thought about it like that, but yeah.
I think that's why he likes her. He said like he likes her Twitter a lot because she's really, quote, progressive. And I think for Logan, progressive means impulsive.
Right. Totally. Yeah, like they were really, Logan was really making a point to say like how much he thought she was cool.
Yeah.
Because I also think that she was like just intimidated. She seemed like nervous at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah.
Because I think that like I feel like as a guest, you feel like you might just get like roasted or something. Like, especially as like someone that's younger too.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked her. I think but eventually she did say like I don't know how far into it. She said, "I like this podcast. It's feisty. Y'all are really raw about this shit. Let's be real. I kind of fuck with it. Y'all are really raw about this shit. Let's be real. I kind of fuck with it." So yeah, she said a lot of funny things. I liked the way she talked. I liked the words she used. I think she's like really smart, or like she's like, of course, using a lot of like popular slang and shit like that. But like when I listen to the way she talks and the way she articulates her thoughts, like I'm like, this person, that's why she's popular. She's good at articulating her thoughts.
Yeah, she did use a lot of slang, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I like her. I mean, I know she's like super, she's super controversial. But they
don't know shit about her other than what they talked about, and like they mostly just talked about what was being a slut.
Yeah, I mean that was and I thought it was like Mike kept bringing it back up,
right?
the slut combo, and I think it was
But he
valid.
did say that was what the meat of the conversation was,
and I kind of agree. I think that he was trying to tease out I don't know, something, and I think at the end he finally did. They said they were talking about, can the word slut be purified, kind of can the word slut ever be a thing that's not derogatory or negative? And he's like, certain people do use it positively, but it still has that negative connotation. And she said that she hopes that not that it's okay in the future, that not that it's okay to be a slut, but that being a slut is not even a thing. And I feel like that was this was 50 minutes into the combo that she finally
remember that, yeah,
articulated that. And I think
that was pretty good. That was good.
And it was just the question is, are you having a good time? If you're not, then it's bad. There's no such thing as having too much sex, or because they kept saying things like, should is being too promiscuous bad? Should you try to cut back? Is that eating too much chocolate? Should you go on a sex diet?
Right.
And it's basically no. They kept thinking that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and again, Logan said the same thing he said before, which was I'm a slut and I'm fine with it, but I would never, a girl that I'm going to marry, she better have a low fuck number. I don't know what his, what's too many for Logan. But again, I'm going to say that's a real double standard. That's not okay.
Right. And it's funny to me that he even says that. Dude,
how can you not see that?
Yeah. But it goes back to another thing point with how Spencer, calling out, yeah, you guys are going to get cuffed. They're still calling the cuff, which is another thing that's
yeah, you're making a relationship look basically you're a prisoner to it, and it's a negative. That's a negative connotation,
right?
To a relationship in general, and basically the most free you could be is a bachelor having sex with everyone, and that's I don't know, that's ideal in some way,
right?
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, maybe they probably, if we brought that up to them, that cuff has a negative connotation, I'm sure they would be no, relationships are good. I mean, it's just fun. It's just what we say.
I mean, and I do. I mean, it is slang.
But the subtext is there, and I think it is meaningful.
True.
She said, they were talking about her clickbait and some of her videos, and she said there's no shame in the game. And I appreciated that. Sugar Bear Hair, they call her out on promoting Sugar Bear Hair, which is a hair growth gummy.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, look, I don't know, maybe it's a placebo. And it is. They were all Spencer brought out some hardcore facts about how your body digests whatever.
Yeah, he's
whatever.
Your body can only process 5 milligrams of biotin, and you'll get it through your food. Usually, you'll eat the rest out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tana is she was in a relationship with Bella Thorne and some other dude, and I guess she's mad that the world is trying to define her. She's I'm just doing me. I guess you could say it's pansexual or something, but she's she refuses to be defined.
Right.
Which is, it's a cool brand. It's the same brand as Logan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was this one part where this is when Logan was saying about her tweets. It's I like you. You're just so unfiltered. You're so progressive. That's kind of how we are here. We like to keep it. I'm gonna keep it 100, yo. And then right when he said that, there was a fade cut where they cut a section out completely. And I wonder, was he about to go and say something super controversial right there? And then they were nope. And so
I think that's exactly what happened.
He's you keep it 100.
I was listening to that one, and I remember when he was getting all revved up, and I thought that there was going to be some shit that drops.
Yeah, he was let me prove it to you that on the show we are unfiltered and keep it 100. let me say this now, but then I guess the lawyers or whoever reviews these podcasts decided that wasn't good, and so he couldn't actually keep it 100.
What do you think he said? I'm thinking,
look, I don't know.
Fuck about anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, he probably called someone out, maybe.
I have no idea. Maybe it was just dumb or something. I don't know. But
it wasn't. I think if it was dumb, they would have kept it in. But
yeah, it was funny though. The timing, like
everything
on the show's on the table, transparent, cut, redacted. There's a part where she says she thought that Logan would be doing really well with ads. Like, I thought you'd be on the program, like you'd be doing really well with ads and stuff. Like, you're a good guy. Like, you should be doing good, right? And he's like, have you seen my controversies?
Yeah.
I just thought that was a good line.
That's
about
funny.
Being demonetized.
Yeah.
There's a part where they both said they had tea on each other.
Right.
They were about to drop it, which was funny.
I knew it wasn't going to happen.
There was a funny part of the show where they were saying, "What's your favorite part of your body?" And she I don't think she answered, but then did she?
I forget. She might have.
But Logan said that his favorite part of his body is his arms, and then Spencer's like, "They're not arms, they're cannons."
I did hear that. That was funny.
They're not arms, man. They're cannons. They're beautiful.
I like that. I mean,
yeah.
What did yeah, that was a funny part. What did Mike say?
I don't remember.
I don't think he said anything.
I just like that line. He's just like, like really. That's like a really compassionate compliment. They're not arms, they're cannons. So yeah, there's like one other thing. They were talking about how hard it is to be a YouTuber, and she's like, yeah, it is really hard. Like, you go on a vacation and you're like thinking, this could be all content right now. Like, all this could be content, and just like the line between life and content being really tough. Yeah. They talked about. And yeah, that's all about that. But that's kind of the end of that. I actually have notes about TanaCon, but I guess I watched that Shane thing for nothing. So, mentioned earlier, you have you're in a new relationship, so you haven't watched any of Logan's vlogs.
I watched one, I think.
You watched what?
I watched Best Friend, like the new Best Friend. Or Best Friend.
How'd you like it?
It was fine. It was dumb.
Was it a little racist? Like renting like the migrant worker to be his best friend and like basically making him wear a Mexico shirt and a sombrero.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit racist.
Yeah.
I did think that. I was like, ooh, okay.
I thought the line about back in this day status, man. Did you hear that line? He said, "This is my friend. It's my friend from back home. Like, we've been friends forever." And he says, "Oh, back in the day status."
Yeah.
That's just a funny line. Bad audio mixing on that episode is just a little note I have to say. Is like,
I think I
you actually did notice that?
I recognize that immediately.
Guys, compression.
Yeah. Like,
look at the audio waves, turn them up and down.
Those are so obvious to me now. Like, after like editing a little bit of video, I'm like, that's so obvious. Like, come on.
What's his name? The dude from Hilton. Hilder.
His name's Hilder.
No, his name, the editor.
Yeah, Holden.
Fuck. He's not going to listen to us unless we know his name.
Yeah. I got it.
Hayden. Whatever. Hayden. If you want to talk to me, I can give you a little lesson in audio mixing.
I feel like
or just like freaking Google it.
I feel like he didn't mix that, to be honest. But
the video editor usually does the audio mixing too in a thing like this. So
I don't
think I think he just never really learned how to mix audio, honestly. I think he's probably a self-taught editor and he's really good. But I think he just didn't ever learn audio mixing or think it was like that crucial. And if you're wearing earbuds, if you're watching a lot of this stuff on your phone, you're just listening to this on headphones, it's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, if you're watching these vlogs on a TV in your house or on your computer, it's insane how much you have to like ride the volume to like hear things or like turn it down because it's so loud.
So guys, if we will be glad to help you out with some audio.
Yeah.
Just need we need the desk next to the desk. Sit there throughout the show. It'll be fun.
I think if we were on the show, we could have one time an episode where we can hit a button and all their microphones cut and lights turn off and it turns to us and we get we get one veto or like one disruption.
Yeah.
So they did Maverick House takes an IQ test, and I think Mike was the smartest person. But you know, like IQ tests are infamously not a good indication of like actual intelligence. Like that's hard to measure. So it's like a certain like it's intelligence in a certain dimension.
Right.
But yeah, that was okay vlog. $400,000 duct taped car. Jake pranked him and put duct tape all over the freaking Yeti.
Really?
And they drove it down the highway, got some sweet drone shots of it. Pretty cool. I had to say, but that whole episode, I told you earlier, it reminded me of like a more like ambient video, an ambient vlog. Like we were talking about 2 weeks ago, I think, with Ross Creations, how we like his vlogs a lot because they're like prank videos, but it's like they're kind of like a more low-key, less action-packed, and just kind of like it.
Really not much. It's not like stylistic. It's just pretty clips.
And it's like from many different days and all mixed together and sort of, it seems like a mishmash a bit, but it works for Ross. And I felt like Logan's vlogs had a bit of a Ross Creations vibe for that episode.
Ross hit 1 million, by the way.
That's cool. I hope Ross gets on Impulsive, and he might, you know.
I think he will. I really do.
I think it's really just like we're doing it. I think I don't know. He's good. Oh yeah, in that episode, they found out that the previous owner of Logan's house is one of the guys from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Really?
Yeah, you'd have to see. I can't really describe him. Tall white guy, kind of curly hair.
I think you're talking.
But he pulled up, and they got him in the vlog for a second.
What did he say? It was like,
I used to live here. I love this place. Something like that. I don't remember. But they were like, that's the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And they cut to a scene of him. 2 guys sneak into the movies disguised as one vlog. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite Logan Paul vlogs in a long time. Very funny, classic slapstick move where 2 guys are stacked on top of each other, and then you put on a long trench coat to look like one guy. They try to get a movie ticket. It's honestly like, it's funny. Evan Dwarf Mamba sits on Logan's shoulders, and they're really tall. It looks really stupid, and nobody falls for it, and they get denied out. I mean, you gotta watch it, but I gotta say it's entertaining. It reminds me of kind of like a Ross Creations vlog too. Like it's a Ross Creations type prank, which is just like totally stupid.
Yeah, it's funny. Doing it in public is really what it is.
Yeah. And a lot of funny stuff happens, and I'll say my favorite line from it is like whenever like Evan's arms are really short, on top of this really huge body. And he just says like, "Oh yeah, no, I have Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome."
Oh my god!
Yeah, good one. The final vlog I'll talk about is "My Brain Has Holes in It." I think is the title of it.
Yeah,
I was so psyched when I saw this thumbnail and title. It's basically Logan is, like we said, he's been searching for why he could have thought it was a good idea to film a dead body in the suicide forest. And so, you know, he's on his episodes, he talks about like, I was a different person back then. I was addicted to the numbers. I wasn't myself. But now Logan has turned to scientific-ish sort of methods. He went to a brain scientist to get a brain scan, a type of scan called a SPECT scan. And he got his brain scanned and interviewed by the psychologist, and the brain scans came back, and it showed on this very rainbow colored brain diagram that in his prefrontal cortex zone there's these little like holes, and it doesn't mean there's physical holes in his brain, but that the blood flow in that zone is a little bit less than other zones. And so it means that the doctor characterizes the prefrontal cortex as the part that makes you human. So has trouble being more empathic, understanding what other people are thinking. He said this is the part of the brain that makes you human. And so Logan's like, oh, this is why I did the suicide forest thing, is because this, not because I'm bad or I had bad judgment, it's because I have this brain that's not working. And he chalked it up to the brain injuries he had. He fell off a trampoline or something when he was 11, or like hit his head on something, split his skull, and got a metal plate in it. And that trauma, plus he said he was getting hit a lot in football in high school. He would be the one sacrificing his body for the coach. And the doctor was like, yeah, all that trauma is definitely what's causing this. Like, you need to not put your brain through any more trauma. Like, don't do anything. And he's like, well, I got a box KSI. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. And he's like, and I got to get clickbait. And he's like, yeah, you just can't. You got to be smarter about getting clickbait. This is not. So, yeah. So the doctor was like, yeah, this is why you're not empathic. You have holes in your brain. Obviously, look at the chart, and we can fix it. All you have to do is take lots of fish oil, these other freaking brain drugs that I concoct and sell. And also you have to spend 80 hours not 80 consecutive, but 80 different hours inside an oxygen chamber at his office. And then his brain will be rehabilitated.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So I was like 1000% skeptical when I was watching this shit, because as you know, I took a couple neuroscience classes in school and like psychology classes, and like I'm a general like brain nerd. Like, I like to learn about it, and like I like to hear about how much we know about it. And I know enough to know that the things that this guy was saying based on the scan were extremely like not common. Like if doctors were saying, if these kinds of like advancements in brain knowledge were this far, like we would be, I just know that what we know about the brain is so little, and this guy was acting like he was a master of the brain using the sorcery of this SPECT scan. And I looked it up. The SPECT scan is I didn't even heard of that actual type of scan. And it turns out it's because it's kind of an older scan. They use fMRI, CT scans, and PET scans now for things like this. But this is kind of a more cheap method. It's older. And it's also supposed to only be used for like group studies. So you only are supposed to look at like trends across many individuals, not like the way that he's using this, like looking at one person and then like saying, oh yeah, here's your empathy zone. Like, not only is that kind of like a really like reckless conjecture about saying this is your empathy, like it is like prefrontal cortex. Most people agree it's like the part of the brain that does make you human, but like saying it's the empathy zone. And I've heard this doctor, okay, like when I Googled, SPECT scan, this guy's actually, his name came up because this guy is associated with abusing SPECT scans. He's been on TV shows since like the late 90s to now as like a sort of like quack doctor, like the miracle neuroscientist that can basically diagnose any problem and help anyone. Right. And like apparently he hands out packets that show different types of these colorful rainbow brains that is like, this is the frustrated housewife. This is the angry CEO's brain. Like, it's that specific where he'll like he thinks he can look at this brain scan and then know how to like diagnose you. And it's just like all the real, he hasn't been credited by any real neuroscientist or any like organization that would validate this kind of scientist has not approved of any of his methods. He's totally like off on his own. But because people are so into this process and this idea, and because he has really helped people, he seems to be actually a good psychologist, like a nice person in general, that like nobody cares. It's just that, like, you know, rich people will spend like a couple $1,000s on a scan, and then all his pills that he sells, he sells all these kind of like unregulated vitamins and stuff associated with this and the processes associated with healing, that it's just like,
yeah, it's bullshit.
It's 100% bullshit. But like, I don't know, I read a couple articles about him, and it's like one thing just mentioned like the power of the placebo is strong. And they said that in placebo tests, if somebody's given a pill, the effects are a certain strength. If they're given a shot, the effects are doubled. You know, the more dramatic the cure, and that's in quotes, the more dramatic the cure, the more pronounced the placebo effect is. So like him going into this massive scanner, having to drink radioactive materials, which that's like one thing I read is kind of dangerous about the SPECT scan, is you have to ingest radioactive materials, and the fact that this is not even real science at all and he's making people drink radioactive shit is kind of the dangerous part about this. It's like that's unnecessary, because like not only is it kind of dangerous, it's also unnecessary because this isn't fucking science. Yeah, so like, but if you go inside this big machine and you're going in an oxygen chamber 80 times for an hour, you're taking these pills, you're thinking, okay, this doctor, I saw my rainbow brain, like I'm making my brain better, I'm getting better. Logan probably might make a more effort to be more empathic, because he thinks like, well, I've been doing the oxygen sessions and taking the pills, maybe that part of my brain is growing back, I'm getting better, you know, like if it's a powerful enough placebo, then it could have really powerful effects. And, you know, I don't know what the freaking truth about Logan's brain is, but I just want to say like that guy is like a well-known quack. Daniel Amen from Amen Clinics. You'll see him all over the internet if you Google it.
What's going on with like Logan's brain? I mean, we'll be the first one to report about it. We'll see it here.
Oh, what did you say right then?
Whenever there is something, you know, we found out there is something wrong with his brain, we'll be the first to report it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I just want to put it out there because like Hollywood Life, that garbage YouTube channel that just reports on YouTuber activity, like they've already reported like, looks like something really is going on with Logan's brain. He got this result back and looks like maybe there was a reason why he was so dumb in the suicide forest. Like that is like half the comments are like, Logan will look for an excuse anywhere for the suicide forest, and some are like, I guess this explains suicide forest.
Right.
Yeah. So this is an interesting chapter in the saga of suicide forest, in my opinion. Like he gets a brain scientist to be like, look, you're fucking, you're broken. But like, I'd love to see any patient that goes to Dr. Daniel Amen that isn't broken in some way. Like, he's gonna scan your brain. He's like, actually, you don't need me. Go home. No, dude. No, everybody's got a problem. We were reading the tea leaves.
If you're seeking an answer for something like that, then like you have a problem. So.
No, I mean, I just think like go to a psychologist or psychiatrist. Just like brain science isn't to this point yet. Right. Even though these scans look cool, like it's an awesome like 3D image and it's rainbow. It's like seriously sweet.
Right.
I think that's part of why it's so convincing, is just the spectacular, like just to say this, like I was saying, the spectacle of it. But yeah, like it's like reading the tea leaves. Like It's this guy's sort of gut and stuff. It's weird. It's like spirituality a little bit. He's like a sort of self-help guru too, like that I've read. I could go. I bet you if I go deeper into Dr. Aman, I'd be like very entertained by all the different things he's up to.
I'm sure.
He seems so nice though. Honestly, in the episode, he seemed like a really nice guy.
Well, that's how you do it. This is Hollywood. This is this big act.
He's this article I read just described his house, and it seems insane. He's incredibly rich.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, fuck. Should probably wrap her up.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long one. Next week we're going to talk about the Kent State gun girl. I forget which episode happened today. Some like MMA dude or
we will.
We'll be back. You're going on a ski trip. When are you getting back from the slopes on Sunday?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to record then.
Sunday.
Yeah, before I leave for the camping trip, we have a small window of time where we're gonna have to record the next Impaulsive.
All right. Well,
we're gonna do it for you guys.
We'll get her done. Don't even worry about it.
All right. Thanks for being here.
I got about 3-4 hours of content to catch up on right now. So
thanks for being here, everyone. If you have any opinions about things we said, let us know in the comments. If you only want to listen to this show, I put this on a podcast feed, Impaulsive PostCast. So, and if you are on the podcast feed now, you should know that there's a video of us if you feel like you want to see a video of us talking and stuff. Yeah, that's it. What else? Rate us. Like us. If you ever see Logan, tell him that you watch this show and that you think he should watch it too or something. Yeah. We need Mike to watch this show.
Well, I think they are watching it. They're just kind of gauging us still.
They're waiting. They're like a predator, like a big cat, like a panther in the trees.
I think Mike's gonna really like this episode.
You think so?
Yeah. I think
I'm sorry for hating on you, Mike. You were nervous. I think that's all it was. He was nervous for a bit.
One thing I will say about a teaser for next week, Spencer's chain was looking pretty giant in this episode.
His freaking $250,000 chain. Yeah, it was.
All right.
Freaking beefed up. All right, thanks for listening.
Thanks for being here, guys, and take it easy, fam. Peace.
Bum 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 bum.